the problem. But let me explain it to you in a very simple analogy here. Using a house, because all of us know what a house is. We all probably live in either a house or an apartment. And my guess is that most of you feel pretty safe when you're in your home at night. Like last night, for instance, I was sleeping over in the Marriott Hotel, which I felt very secure in. But it didn't even occur to me that my family might be at risk. You know, I slept through the night. It wasn't like I woke up in the middle of the night and went, oh no, I wonder if somebody breaking into my house. I didn't do that. Why? And so I want you to think about how you protect your home. How do you secure your home? And it's pretty simple, right? I don't know if you lock your doors at night. We always locked our doors at night. I grew up in New York. I remember one time I left the car doors unlocked in the garage, and I got in trouble for that. So that was the last time, by the way. Right? I remember my father said, I don't care if the car was in the house. You always lock the doors on the car. But here's the things, right? We got doors, we got windows, locks. You might have some kind of fence. You might have an alarm. Maybe you're connected into ADT or somebody that monitors your house. Maybe you have a crime watch program, which you know is a waste of time. You know, maybe you have a dog. Maybe you have can you have a gun in Boston? Is that okay? That's why I moved to North Carolina. You can have guns. All my kids have guns. I have guns. Our police force is sort of useless, though. And, of course, we carry insurance. So we have all this stuff to protect our home. But, you know, this is not what protects our home, believe it or not. It's what we think protects our home. It's what's been sold to us. You know, the alarm guy told me if I bought his alarm, we'd be secure. But it's not true. But there is something that protects my home. And it turns out that it is a procedure. It's a process that uses these components. And if that process is built correctly, it will work. And if it's not built correctly, even if I have all that stuff, it won't work. It's comprised of a protection level, a detection level, and a response level. It's a timed process. Something blocks people from getting in, people break in, something goes off, there's a timed response, somebody hopefully gets stopped. That's the process. Now, of these three columns, I'm going to take a little vote here, a little poll, a little interaction. Which one of these columns is the most important column? Okay, so take a look at it. Which one is most important? It's the protection column, the detection, or the response. You need all three. They all must be timed, they all must work, but one of them is critical and must be nearly perfect. Okay, so you got to vote, otherwise there's like no dessert for you. Okay? All right. So how many people think it's column 3, the response column? Okay? All right, we got 1, 2, 3, and you have to vote. 4, okay? How many people think it is column 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's a lot of people. Nobody's going to want to vote for column 1 now. Who wants column 1? We only have 2?
We got a champion.
All right.
We
All right,
both
good.
live in New Hampshire, actually.
There you
We
go.
don't lock our doors, and we have a gun.
There you go. Well, that's column 3, the gun, right? Okay. Now, I suspect that we have a lot of IT people. Now, if I took the same vote with people who were non-IT people, I'd get a different number. But of course, some of you are wondering if all the people that chose detection are actually right. It turns out that you are right. But if you went to most audiences, because I've spoken to lots of audiences, I'd say that people who are not specifically in the security space always choose column 1, even though that was the lowest chosen column in this group here. Most of them will choose column 1. Because that's what they've been told, that to keep people out, you'll be safe. And it's not true. And if you look at the bank, right, when does a bank get robbed more often, at nighttime or daytime? Daytime. Do you ever wonder why that is? The banks are open during the daytime. Okay? That is not the reason. Okay? It's not the reason. The reason is because the vault manufacturer tells you how long it takes to break into the vault. It's actually part of the specifications of the vault. So when you buy a vault, you can actually get one that's rated for, fire, rated for torches, and rated for breaking in with tools, different kinds of tools. And it will tell you that this particular safe can be broken into with tools in 30 minutes. This one over here requires a torch, but it can be broken into in, say, 60 minutes. So the burglar knows that the bank knows that it takes an hour to break into their safe, and it can be broken into. But in 1 hour, the police also know that as soon as the alarm goes off, that the people are starting to break into the safe, and they got 60 minutes to get there. And so they'll stop by, pick up some donuts, and show up at 55 after, and they'll stop it. But during the daytime, it's unknown. Because the bank door is open and the vault door is open, it's not because they can get in more easily, it's because it's unknown what the response time will be. That's why. And of course now everything's moving to cyber break-ins because it's not predictable enough. That's why. Now can you imagine if the firewall manufacturer, if Check Point, had a sign on their firewall that said, here's how long it takes to break in, right? You know, but people want to believe that you can't break in. That's why they've had to build other technology to detect, and they do. They do that, right? Because they know that you can break in. But if you can detect them and respond in time, you'll be in good shape. Now the problem is 80%, according to Gartner Group this year, 80% of companies today have invested 80% of the IT investment today of any company is in column 1. 80% of it. When this is the most important column. Very few companies can actually detect, and some have detection technology in place. Reference Target, for instance. Nobody here works for Target, right? Before I, slam them and all this stuff. But they actually had technology in place to detect a hack. I was working with a company in New York City, which I won't name, financial organization. And they had stuff in place and running. But they didn't really understand how to use it. They didn't understand how to correlate the alerts. They didn't understand how to analyze the data. And so therefore, they didn't really have a detection strategy. They were simply collecting detection data. Big difference. And so there was no response plan. And so that next morning, I got a call, and they said, we can't get into any of our stuff. Our routers were locked out of them. We're locked out of our servers. And then the guy asked me the funny question, should we disconnect from the internet? Like, yeah, I think so. Because we can get in there and break into the stuff for you and then try to recover it, try to get it back. Detection is the most important piece of this whole puzzle. But there better be a response plan right behind it, right? Because if there's not, you'll detect it, your alarm will go off, it'll be like a car alarm going off in the parking lot, and everybody's hitting their button trying to turn off whose car is that? And nobody's looking. There has to be a response plan timed behind it, and most companies don't have that in place either. So take a look. Do we detect? Can we detect? How long would it take to detect? Now, if you look at traditional security, here it is, 80% of the budget. Firewall, passwords, encryption. This is like your front door. Like how many of you went door shopping with your spouse and said, oh, honey, look at this door. This is going to be really secure. That's not the way you bought your door, is it? No, you were looking for something that looked nice. And it's not secure. This is not secure. So when we look at how organizations are secure today, we get all these statistics. 87% of web servers are compromised. 90% of end nodes are compromised at some time, point or another. If you went back to your company today, I can almost guarantee that you have unauthorized software on at least one computer in your company that somebody outside installed that does not work for your company. And that means they have access to that computer to anything on it, meaning logging keystrokes, capturing passwords of whatever that thing logs into, listening to meetings through your speakers, watching you through your video. By the way, it's easy to turn that little green light off. Okay, I would almost guarantee that at least 99% of the companies represented here have at least one computer. And unlike a virus, you only need one. You just need one of those compromised for people to start sifting data out of your organization. Just like TJ Maxx and Albert Gonzalez, way back in the 2005 timeframe. That's the way he did it. Just a couple of computers. He went to work every day at the hotel across the street from TJ Maxx, and he just spent all day siphoning data through those couple of computers. That's how they do it. It's a very simple process. This is what your security strategy should look like. It's not a product. It's not a keep it out. It's a protection, detection, response with a focus on detection that goes across administrative things, which means like user awareness, getting the people out there who are using the data, understanding what they're doing, technology that helps us automate some of this process, and some physical things to make sure that nobody can get to that stuff physically. All 9 boxes must work together. This is what creates security.